Welcome back to Classic Game Room. Today it's my pleasure to speak with Tanya Emmert, who is the producer of ZUMA'S Revenge for PopCap, which is going to be released on iOS devices like the iPhone, iPad, and the iPod Touch. And I'm a huge fan of the original Zuma. How is ZUMA'S Revenge different?
Well, ZUMA'S Revenge was originally released as a PC title, and we took inspiration from that and really turned it into something special on the touchscreen. Playing it on the iPad, playing it on the iPhone, I actually can't go back and play Zuma on the PC because I don't know how I ever thought it was fun. I mean, it's nowhere near as amazing as it is on the iOS device.
So apparently the touchscreen controls revolutionize the game.
It does. It's very, very natural. You don't get the wrist tire that you get with playing Zuma on the PC or on the Mac, and it just feels, I hate to say magical, but it feels really good. It feels really, really natural.
Well, I feel like most PopCap games are made from magic, so I would think that magical is a perfect way to describe it.
A little bit of unicorn, a little bit of, stir a little this, a little of that, a little magic.
A lot of your games do work extremely well with touch screens or the Nintendo DS stylus because you're not necessarily controlling a character. You're moving something backwards and forwards or selecting this, that, and turning something, like in Peggle. Now, how does the touch screen control work with ZUMA'S Revenge? Is it still more or less the same back and forth motion where you're shooting the ball up into the chain of balls to score crazy points?
Absolutely. So you can tap where you want to fire, or you can touch and drag the frog. We have an aiming assist that comes on and will help you with that as well. So it kind of depends on how you want to play. It's been really fascinating watching people play the game because everybody finds their own style that feels right for them. And sometimes myself and the designer, we're watching like, they're doing it wrong. How are they possibly playing that way? But it really opens it up to how people want to play the game.
And what is the overall objective in ZUMA'S Revenge? Is it to score crazy points by matching all the colors and doing all the fun stuff that you did in the original Zuma, or have you changed the gameplay in some way?
There's a light, I would say a very light story in ZUMA'S Revenge. So crazy points are definitely a big part of it, matching balls and moving forward through the levels, but there is a secret at the end that I can't tell you about. We also have challenge mode where it's all about your score, where you can go and try to beat the ace time and see. And we have some freaks here who can post scores that are just inhuman. It's crazy.
I imagine that the people who work at PopCap are some of the best players of PopCap games.
I can't play Bejeweled to save my life, but I'm pretty good at Zuma, so it works out all right.
And the iPad version is enhanced for the HD screen? Because that's always nice.
Yeah, we do have just gorgeous graphics. We redid all the backgrounds for the Retina graphics and for the HD device, and it really looks beautiful.
Are you limiting it at this point to the Apple products, or is there a possible Android release schedule or Droid release schedule in the future?
For right now, the only thing that I know for sure is that it's going to be coming out in the iTunes store pretty soon, in the month of March. There's been talk, but no promises. It's all just talk right now.
And there's a Nintendo DS version as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything for the Atari 2600?
It'd be a little difficult to do with a joystick.
No, but you could use the paddle controllers.
See, paddle controllers, underrated. Completely underrated. I worked on a Warlords product for PC, and when I was at Atari, and it was like, why can't we just make a paddle? Because you can't play this thing with a mouse. And yeah, the paddle would work.
So we're talking about PopCap games, but of course I'm tempted to go into a whole tangent on it. I have an Atari right here, by the way. I show everybody this.
But do you have the E.T. game?
Yeah, sadly, it can't. Whenever I bought a true story on this, because I collect Atari games, and for a while there I was buying a bunch of them on eBay, and you'd buy some good games, but they'd always come with a few other games. So I just ended up with 3 or 4 copies of E.T. that I don't want. They take up shelf space, and I'm just going to give them away or something. Throw them at people.
Many landfills.
Oh, what an absolute... You didn't have anything to do with that game, did you?
No. I was playing it when I was a kid, but I didn't have anything to do with that.
So you're entirely... you must have had an Atari back in the day growing up, right?
It was a big deal. We had to lobby my parents to get a 2600. They weren't entirely sure that video games weren't from the devil, and we would go across the street and play at the neighbor's house because their parents weren't religious, so they had a 2600, and playing Haunted House, playing the Indiana Jones game,
Okay.
E.T. We did play a lot of E.T.
So we're from the same generation on games,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, Haunted House I could never quite figure out, but okay, we'll get back to PopCap because I think we could talk Atari 2600 the entire time here. Would you recommend? Well, I assume you would, since you're the producer. A better way to phrase this is, why would you recommend that fans of the original Zuma step up to Zuma's Revenge?
It's really about the play mechanic. It's I believe the way it was meant to be played. I came to PopCap to work on Zuma, and this is my dream job, working on Zuma. I mean, I have logged hours and hours and hours at Zuma's Revenge, Zuma Blitz, and when I got here and they said, we want you to work on Zuma's Revenge iOS, I said, well, gimme. And started playing it, and I was like, holy crap, this is like nothing ever before. So it's about just this totally new way to play that feels so natural and so intuitive.
Well, that's
plus gorgeous graphics and great sound.
Well, I feel like that's the best way to play the games for the touch screen devices. Is to play the games that were designed with touch screen devices in mind. I'm not totally sold on playing with the old school platformers and like the Atari classics and stuff. Those are frustrating to play when what you need is a joystick. But many of your games, and I've played Zuma, I could totally see how this translates into a touchscreen environment. I'm looking forward to playing it myself. I haven't gotten a chance yet. My iPad is really begging for Zuma's Revenge. I'll trade you a copy of ET for a downloadable code, and then
That'd be great.
Yeah, then I'll come out way ahead on that one. By the way, now do you know what your next project is, or is this the big release crunch for Zuma's Revenge, and this is the focus?
We're pretty focused right now on Zuma's Revenge. There's a lot of conversations about what's coming next, and PopCap's got so much exciting stuff going on with both brands that you know and love and some new brands that have just come out. I don't know if you've had a chance to play Solitaire Blitz on Facebook yet, but that's a lot of fun as well. So yeah, we're not 100% sure. Everybody's gonna take a little break is the first plan. Like everybody gets a 3-day weekend before it goes live, and then we see what happens and trying to schedule some vacations out because people have been working. My team has worked incredibly hard on this. Our QA team has worked really, really hard. We wanted to make sure that we have absolutely the best product out there for our customers.
Do you design all new, or have you had new music designed for the game?
We have done a lot of refinements of the music for the game and a lot of refinements of the sound effect, but it does still feel very much like a Zuma game. It still kind of has that Aztec sort of vibe to it.
Is there any kind of multiplayer aspect that people can play online against each other, or is this single player, just focused experience?
Yeah, it's a focused experience on the iOS, and we do have Zuma Blitz on Facebook if you want to play against your friends and see how you rank up. But the Zuma's Revenge iOS is really a focused experience, that kind of thing that wherever you want to sit down and play, you've got it there to play. It might be 5 minutes waiting at the doctor's office or 10 minutes on the bus. Zuma's always there with you.
Zuma is always there for you.
It is.
It's a fun game. If anyone out there listening has not played Zuma, you definitely owe it to yourself to try one of the, sounds like many versions of Zuma. I didn't realize there were that many versions of Zuma. Well, I wish you the absolute best of luck with the release. How can fans of the series or soon-to-be fans stay in touch with PopCap and stay in touch with Zuma's Revenge in particular?
Well, we just actually did a big revamp on our website, popcap.com, and it's broken into franchises. So if you go into the Zuma franchise, you can see the forums, you can get to our customer service, you can get notifications of game launches, of updates, stuff like that. So probably popcap.com is about the best way to find us. And
you guys are on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff as well?
We are on Twitter and Facebook, yes.
And it's somebody's birthday behind you, and I see Yoda. So there's a lot of respect right now for PopCap, above and beyond what I already had to begin with.
It was a few months ago, but Yoda is a good birthday companion.
I always think so. Yoda won. And I always envisioned PopCap's offices as having rainbows and colors and flowers and zombies everywhere, and I see at least it's somewhat true here.
It actually is. One of the guys brought his daughter in the other day, and I could hear her walking down the hall going, "Daddy, I see a zombie. There's another zombie. Daddy, there's zombies everywhere. So it is a really cool place to work. We've got a lot of great light and color and fun on the walls.
And if there's zombies everywhere, we all know what to do, which is plant lots of flowers that shoot at them.
Yes.
Well, now you know where to go. The iTunes store to download Zuma's Revenge for your iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch or other iDevice, which hasn't been invented as of this recording. They seem to keep coming out with them. Can't stop. We need the Atari 2600 next, which is exactly like the regular Atari 2600, except it runs on imagination.
Have you seen the cabinet that you can put your iPad into that has D-pads? I think ThinkGeek has them. It's a case cabinet for your iPad that turns it into a classic gaming machine.
Yeah, it's the iCade. I have one. You can't see it because the pinball machine is in front of it here. But I have one. We have one here. I reviewed it and I love that. And I'm begging developers who make like spaceship shooters and the old school arcade kind of games to support the iCade. I keep begging them, like, use the iCade, because the iCade actually makes the iPad work like it should for those kinds of games, whereas your games are really developed for a touch screen kind of gameplay to begin with, so you don't really need one. But if you put out a spaceship shooter, I would expect iCade support for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Now, hopefully, I guess one last question, which is, of course, the serious question from the interview. Are there any plans for PopCap to pick up the license for E.T. from the Atari and re-release that? Because you know what that game could use? Touchscreen controls.
Now that we're a part of EA, anything's possible, right?
Thought there you go. I always wanted to walk that horrible little creature into a pit and just do away with him. I was never a big fan. My dad took me to see E.T. when I was a kid, and I was actually angry it wasn't Star Wars. True story. I've never gotten over that, and I've never liked the movie, and I certainly didn't like the game. Sorry, and I know it's a beloved movie, but...
Well, forget about Reese's Pieces for you, then.
Sadly, I actually like Reese's Pieces, but that's a different discussion. Thank you very much to Tanya. Thank you very much to PopCap and all of you watching. Zuma's Revenge. Download it wherever fine games are downloaded.